Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Dave's Top 3,000 Songs of the Rock Era. Today I'm up to song number 2163, and that one is Dream Baby by Roy Orbison. This one came out in 1962. Here's a picture of the single. It was also released on his 1962 compilation album, his first compilation album, just called Roy Orbison's Greatest Hits, and you can see what other songs are on this album. And here's a picture of Roy Orbison around the time he recorded it. Very big musician. I'll get into him in a few minutes, but I want to say a couple of things first. First of all, I decided to do this one at karaoke. Pretty powerful song, and I think I've kind of got his style now. So stick around for that. I think you'll enjoy it. I want to say a little bit about the song Dream Baby first, I guess. One of his early hits. Very powerful song, like a lot of his were. It's pretty self-explicit. He's interested in this girl, and he calls her his dream baby because there's nothing going on with them yet, but he's dreaming about her. I guess he's kind of madly in love with her, and he's pleading to her, be my dream baby. Don't just keep me in my dreams. Be real. Pretty powerful, I'd say. And I'm just going to say one more thing about it before I get off. Actually, I saw Roy Orbison in concert back in 1980. It was my senior year of high school. I hadn't even heard of him before. I didn't even know who he was. He was playing backup for the Eagles. I went with a friend of mine from high school to watch the Eagles at the Oakland Stadium. In Oakland, California, just across the bay from San Francisco, where we were living. And, I was very pleasantly surprised by him because I never even heard of him before. I heard he was an old singer. He was doing a lot of oldies, and then he played Dream Baby. It was one of the first songs he played at the concert, and I was blown away by it. I just couldn't believe it because I didn't even really listen to that many oldies at the time. I was still in high school. Most of the songs I knew were from the late 70s, just from the last few years. I didn't know very many oldies. Not even that many songs from the early 70s. Just about the only songs I knew from before then were some hits by the Beatles and by Elvis. But I hadn't even heard of Roy Orbison, like I said. But I just do remember him playing Dream Baby, and I loved it. And he only played a couple songs I knew in concert. The songs I knew that he played were "Blue by You," which was already hit for Linda Ronstadt a couple of years earlier. As a matter of fact, her version's coming up pretty high on my list. Roy Orbison's version didn't make it though. And then the other one I knew was probably the most well-known song was "Oh Pretty Woman." That was one of the last ones he did. And the only reason I knew that song at that time was because they used it in a Cammy soap commercial about a year earlier. I heard it on that commercial. The movie Pretty Woman hadn't come out yet. Now everybody knows that song. As a matter of fact, Oh Pretty Woman by Roy Orbison is coming up very, very high on my list. I'm not going to say how high. You'll have to wait and find out. And I do have a few other songs by Roy Orbison coming up on my list. This is the first of them. Anyway, so I guess that's enough said about the song Dream Baby and my experience hearing it for the first time. Now I'm going to talk about Roy Orbison. Really amazing musician, I think. I think he's considered one of the greatest rock musicians of all time. He had a very long career. He started, recording in the 1950s, and his career lasted over 3 decades. Unfortunately, he died very young. He died of a heart attack at age 52 in 1988. And I remember when that happened, and I was pretty sad about it myself. Maybe partly because I'd seen him, also because I became a lot more familiar with his music by then. You know, but he was born in a small town in Texas, Vernon, Texas, back in 1936, and he died in Hendersonville, Tennessee in 1988. Like I said, he died of a heart attack, and I think it was completely unexpected. I mean, he'd already been, doing a lot of music just a few months earlier. He, as a matter of fact, he'd been performing with the supergroup called the Traveling Wilburys. He didn't perform with them very long, unfortunately, but there's him. I think he's second from the right, wearing the leather jacket with the buttons. In case you guys don't know, I think you're probably familiar with all these guys because they were all famous musicians. The guy on the left is Bob Dylan. The guy next to him, I believe, I think that's George Harrison of the Beatles. And then the one in the middle is Tom Petty of Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, and there's Roy Orbison right next to him. And the guy on the right is Jeff Lynne of VLO. I hope I got him right. Maybe that's George Harrison on the right. I'm not sure. But anyway, that was a Traveling Wilburys, pretty great supergroup. They had a couple big hits. I even featured one of them already. Featured Handle with Care, number 2757, and they have one more coming up. But anyway, yeah. Now I want to go through Roy Orbison's hits. He had a lot of hits. His first hit was in 1956. It was called Ooby Dooby, and that one went to number 59. And then in 1959, he had a song called Uptown, which went to number 72. That's not the same Uptown by the Crystals, needless to say. I mean, he was male. And then 1960, he had a song called Only the Lonely. That one went to number 2. Just missed the top spot. And he followed that up with Blue Angel, which went to number 9, and I'm Hurtin', which went to 27. And then in 1961, he got his first number 1 song called Running Scared. And then he followed that up with Crying, which just missed the top spot, went to number 2. And I already featured a cover of that song. I featured Don McLean's cover at number 2711. And then he had Candyman, which went to 25. That's not the same Candyman by Sammy Davis Jr., which was used in the movie Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. That movie didn't come out until about 10 years later. And then in 1962, we had the song I'm featuring today, Dream Baby, which went to number 4. And we followed that up with The Crowd, which went to 26. And Working for the Man, which went to number 33. And also Leia, which went to 25. And then in 1963, he has a song called In Dreams, which went to number 7. Falling, which went to 22. Blue Bayou, which went to 29. And then in 1963, he had, I guess still in 63, had Mean Woman Blues, which went to number 5. I believe that was covered by many other artists, including Elvis. And then finally, he had a Christmas hit called Pretty Paper, which went to number 15. And then 1964, he had It's Over, which went to number 9. And then he had his biggest, most well-known hit, Oh Pretty Woman, which went to number 1. I think that one was immortalized by the movie Pretty Woman. Now everybody knows that song. It was already pretty big old even before that movie came out. And then in 1965, we had Good Night, which went to number 21. Say You're My Girl, which went to 39. Right Away, which went to number 25. Crawling Back, which went to 46. And then he had a cover of a song from the 50s, originally recorded by Shirley and Lee, called Let the Good Times Roll. That one went to number 81. And then in 1966, he had Breaking Up Is Breaking My Heart, which went to 31. Twinkle Toes, which went to 39. Too Soon to Know, which went to 68. And Communication Breakdown, which went to number 60. That's not the same Communication Breakdown by Led Zeppelin. And then in 1967, he had Cry Softly Lonely One, which went to number 52. And then he had a long hiatus, but he had a comeback, a big comeback in 1980. I guess it was the same year I saw him in concert. In 1980, he had a song called That Lovin' You Feeling Again, which went to number 55. And then in 1988, that was the year he died. Just before he died, he had a hit with the Traveling Wilburys called Handle with Care, went to 45, and like I mentioned, I already featured that one on my list. number 2757. And then in 1989, that was already after he died, he had a posthumous solo hit called You Got It, which went to number 9. And then he had another hit with the Traveling Wilburys, posthumous hit for him called End of the Line, which went to 63. That one's coming up on my list. And finally, in 1992, we had a duet of Crying along with Katie Lang, which he'd recorded in 87. That one went to number 40. So those were the hits for Roy Orbison. Very prolific, and I think a very great singer-songwriter and musician. So I guess that says everything I have to say about Roy Orbison and Dream Baby. So now, without further ado, I will perform the song Dream Baby to karaoke. So sit back and enjoy. Here it goes. Sweet dream, baby. Sweet dream, baby. Sweet dream, baby. How long must I dream? Dream, baby, got me dreaming sweet dreams the whole day through. Dream, baby, got me dreaming sweet dreams nighttime too. I love you and I'm dreaming of you, but that won't do. Dream, baby, make me stop my dreaming. You can make my dreams come true. Sweet dream, baby. Sweet dream, baby. Sweet dream, baby. How long must I dream? Dream, baby, got me dreaming sweet dreams the whole day through. Dream, baby, got me dreaming sweet dreams nighttime too. I love you and I'm dreaming of you, but that won't do. Dream, baby, make me stop my dreaming. You can make my dreams come true. Ah, sweet dream, baby. Yeah, sweet dream, baby. Sweet dream, baby. How long must I dream? Sweet dream, baby. Sweet dream, baby. Sweet dream, baby. Okay, I think that went pretty well. That was my performance of Dream Baby in the style of Roy Orbison. I hope you enjoyed it. And I probably should add that one to my karaoke repertoire. Anyway, that completes my video on this song Dream Baby by Roy Orbison. So thank you for watching. You guys rock, and I'll see you next time. Bye.